Nat returned from an overseas holiday 2 days after the government introduced the self-isolation policy. So we are 4 days into our self-isolation. So what do you do when you're self-isolated? Well, a lot of people are experiencing it, so I'm just going to run through what we're doing. Firstly, we knew it was going to happen because I knew when Nat was coming back, the government introduced the isolation policy. So I got a couple of weeks worth of food. You don't need 6 months worth. A couple of weeks is fine. The other thing to consider is handyman projects. What are you going to do? If you have the opportunity to go out and get some supplies, that's a good idea. So I'm going to run through a few things, show you what I've been doing. Right, the veggie garden. I always have a veggie garden, but at this moment, in this time of isolation, what do I have in stock? Okay, we have chives, capsicums, chilies, lemongrass, pumpkins not ripe yet, bananas nearly ripe, grapes nearly ripe. So yes, my butternut pumpkins aren't ripe yet, but they will be in maybe 4 weeks. And is that going to help me or not? I don't know. I don't know where we're going to be in 4 weeks. Maybe this is the prequel. Maybe the world is experiencing the prequel to the Mad Max movies. We don't know. A month ago, life was normal, but now it's a bit different. It's like a tree. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So consider getting some veggies, because who knows where we're headed. This is another project I could have worked on, but I did it a couple of months ago. I could have gone out and got the supplies because I had a couple of days warning before Nat got home and I knew I needed to stock up. So I could have bought the wood for this, but I've already made it, so I didn't. What I call the Barley Bench. It's a modified barley daybed, so I call it the Barley Bench. We needed some colour at this end of the pool, so Nat decided a bench with height would do the job nicely. So it took me some time. I could have spent half of my isolation making this bench if I hadn't made it already. Incidentally, the macrame was Nat's handiwork, not mine, and Nat of course decided it had to have pillows, so I do the making and Nat does the decorating. I had an old table that Dad made a long time ago. I'm not sure, maybe 30 years ago. We called it the Christmas table because it was an extendable table and it came out every Christmas. But anyway, it was getting a little bit old, a little bit ratty, so I pulled it apart and saved the tabletop, which was nice, thick plywood. So I thought, what can I do with plywood? So I thought, well, I might as well make a few more geckos. So I drew out another gecko and cut it out in the bandsaw. If you've got a bandsaw, really easy, a lot of fun. So there's my gecko. And when you cut the gecko out, there's obviously a lot of wasted wood. So what do you do with the wasted wood? Well, you make small geckos, of course. Small geckos, great. Something else I did before we went into lockdown is I went to some friend's place and got some variegated hibiscus cuttings, because I got some once before and they're turning out to be a fabulous specimen in a pot. So I thought, well, I'll get some more and get some more pots going because they just look fantastic. And while you're on self-isolation, you don't need to stock up with food for 6 months. We had a call earlier from our neighbour. They thought we might be starving, but we're not, and they dropped off some hot cross buns. That was so nice and wonderful. Look out for your neighbours, fantastic. Thank you, Abby. We love the hot cross buns. One last thing. How did I spend the rest of my time in isolation? Trying to put this YouTube together, that's how. But it's a lot of fun though. See you on the other side.